people were just okay. We was just quiet, sitting back. We was excited. Then when they started messing with it, no other choice but to step up. We the people were just okay. We was just quiet, sitting back. We was
horrific outcome in the bogus hush money trial. Now, before we dive in, I want to give everyone a few minutes to join us online. Log on, grab your coffee. If you're at work, put your AirPods in your ears. We're about to discuss this case, the indictment, the 6 weeks of trial, the verdict, and what comes next for President Trump. This is not how I usually start a broadcast, but today's different. So I'm unapologetic today for this side of me that you've never seen before. But today I'm tired, I'm fed up, I'm disgusted, and I'm mad. And you should be too. So come on in, get comfortable. Thanks for choosing Right Side Broadcasting Network for live coverage of today's press conference. You can see right behind me live pictures from inside Trump Tower, right there in the lobby where people are gathering. The press is there. RSBN there as well, some of President Trump's legal team and some of the Trump campaign workers as well, waiting for the president to come down either the golden escalators that are so famous and also either the elevators there inside Trump Tower. So we're expecting a very interesting morning from President Trump and his attorneys, and we'll hear more from him here in a little bit closer to the top of the hour. So before we start, we want to remind you that Democrats are in control. Many of the lessons from the last 24 hours, it's now crystal clear that they will go to any depth to hurt Americans any chance they get. So don't let them control you and don't let them control your finances. That's why we encourage you to contact the Birch Gold Group. Highly recommended by RSBN. The Birch Gold Group can be trusted with your financial future. So you can roll over your 401ks, your IRAs into gold. So if you don't know where to begin, that's okay. A lot of us don't, but that's where the Birch Gold Group, their experts, come in. All you have to do is text the word Trump to 989898. For years, our politicians have spent like drunken sailors on things like the Green New Deal, the quote Inflation Reduction Act, so much that they have spent money on, wasted money. Don't let them waste your money. Secure your future today with the Birch Gold Group. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. A representative will contact you and then send you a free information kit. They're wonderful at what they do. They care about you and your finances, and they want to make sure that every American has money saved for the future. They have thousands of satisfied customers, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They can be trusted. Our government can't be. So call them today. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. It's just after 10 a.m. on the East Coast. President Trump is set to hold a press conference at 11 a.m. Eastern Time from inside New York's Trump Tower. Again, we do have a crew there. You will see some of our reporters in and out of the shot as we have a steady stream going there, but we will be bringing you live coverage all throughout the next hour awaiting President Trump and his attorneys. Now, I usually say, good morning, America, when I start a broadcast, but I can't say that today. Now, while I do hope you are having a great day, it's not a great day. It's a somber day here in our country. We are watching history unfold. A former president convicted of 34 counts in a hush money trial that was blatantly obvious, a quote, get Trump scheme. They're in control from the top down. They're not trying to hide it. They are starting with Joe Biden. This is a Biden trial. The clueless elderly man who loves to lick ice cream cones going after his political opponent who is a threat to him and his shady administration. So they can't win at the ballot box. They can't win in the polls. The people of all races and religions are flocking to President Trump. So what's the only thing the left can do? They make up lies, they make up criminal charges, they make up the rules as they go in court, and let's do all of that in a liberal city, in a deep blue state with a corrupt judge, who, by the way, has donated money to, quote, get Trump organizations. The judge divides the jury during deliberations, which is unheard of, in an effort to get a guilty verdict. Judge Merchan, he prevailed yesterday. I'm sure he went to bed with a smile on his face, but you know what's uglier than his face? His soul. And we, the people, can see right through his ugliness, as well as District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Oh, and Letitia Peekaboo James, you too. We see right through you. All of America does. In fact, the entire world does. You may have won yesterday, but you will not win the verdict that matters. And that's on November 5th. Because let me tell you this, you can put President Trump in jail with shackles around his ankles and handcuffs around his wrists, and I will still walk 10 miles barefoot on broken glass to the polls on November 5th. And the millions of people who want to make this country great again, just like I do, will be right by my side. So keep your head up, Donald Trump. You have our back, we have yours, and these monsters will not win in the end. So looking at this case, we all know by now, you've seen Donald Trump has been convicted on all 34 felony counts brought against him. But let's rehash. This hush money clown show started with indictments because porn star stripper Stormy Daniels, she claimed she had an extramarital affair with Donald Trump back in the day. And in order for her not to come forward with her story before the 2016 presidential election, Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer at the time, supposedly paid her tens of thousands of dollars to stay quiet. $180,000 to be exact. Well, Trump wins in 2016. After the election, Stormy, she later came forward and said she did not have an extramarital affair with President Trump. And Michael Cohen, he then went to jail in 2018 after he pled guilty to lying. You hear that word? Lying to U.S. congressional committees about building a Trump Tower in Moscow. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, ordered to pay a $50,000 fine. So what do we have here? We have a porn star who lies. She goes back and forth on her word. First, she says she did have an extramarital affair. Then she says she didn't. Oh, and now she says because it's convenient for election interference right before the November election to come right back out and say, oh, yes, I did. So which is it, Stormy? Did you or didn't you? You're full of lies. So that's the first key witness. And then the gloat. Nicknamed the gloat now, the greatest liar of all time, ex-Trump attorney Michael Cohen, the second key witness. In this case, no evidence submitted in court of any wrongdoing from President Trump, just a jury in a liberal city going off the words of a stripper, a porn star, and a man who is infatuated with President Trump. So much so that he went after President Trump when Trump would not take him to the White House after winning the election in 2016. This is who the prosecution put on the stand. The jury listened and made their decision off that. Very interesting. Legal expense payments are legal expense payments. And that's what Trump was told they were by Cohen. No evidence provided in court proved otherwise. Now, I've covered many court cases in my career, and remember the famous saying by O.J. Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Well, New York, you missed that memo. If the evidence wasn't there, if the stories don't match up, if the stories change, if the stories are coming from known liars, you must acquit. But they didn't, and here we are today, waiting for what's next. And I'm going to get to what's next here in just a moment, but we want to take out a real time out real quick to talk about Tax Network USA. We love the people, the experts at Tax Network USA. We know a lot of you have filed extensions on your taxes this year. I'm one of them because I'm busy on the campaign trail. That's my excuse. But that's okay. That's where the experts come in. I can sleep easy at night knowing they'll help me. They're on my side and they'll get it together for me when it's time. So contact the experts at Tax Network USA. If you're dealing with back taxes, that's okay. If you're late on filing your taxes, that's okay. They are experts in every single state. So no matter where you live, they can definitely help you, and they can provide those unfulfilled tax returns. So contact them. That information is on your screen. That is a 1-800 number. So write it down real quick. 1-800-357-1415. That's 1-800-357-1415. Also, you can try logging on to their website as well. If you don't want to call, you can check them out online. That's tnusa.com/RSBN. One more time, that's tnusa.com/RSBN. The Tax Network experts, again, they are licensed in every state. Thousands of satisfied customers who are doing great now with their taxes because they let the experts handle them for them. So contact the Tax Network USA. They'll definitely help you out. That 1-800 number again on your screen, 1-800-357-1415. Continuing to monitor the situation there in New York City as we await President Trump to come down either the golden escalators or down the elevators here in about 40 minutes or so with his team. I'm sure they're meeting right now. They will address the nation about this bogus trial, the outcome from the jury, and what's next. So here's what we do know right now that is next, the sentencing phase. Judge Merchan setting up July 11th for Trump to be sentenced. July 11th. Now, this is just days before the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. President Trump could face prison time. So look at the irony here. The corrupt judge setting his sentence days before the RNC. That's no coincidence. Here we go again. That's a distraction to disrupt the RNC. So now that he's convicted, can he still run for president? That's a lot of questions people are asking right now. I've seen it online and on social media. Can he still run for president? The answer is yes. Another question I'm seeing a lot of is, if President Trump is sentenced to prison, can he still run then? The answer is yes. He can also vote because he lives in Florida, as long as he's not in prison in New York State. So he can still run for president and he can still vote if he's not in jail in New York. We also know when it comes to the case that President Trump's attorneys will file an appeal immediately. All legal scholars have said that the standard practice that they have seen, they have faith that this case will be overturned in the higher courts. Watching the national news outlets last night, every single scholar said that they firmly believe 100% this case will be overturned because they do not have a leg to stand on the prosecution's side. Again, we were just in a corrupt kangaroo court system in New York City where facts were not shown to the jury. The Trump defense team tried to bring in some witnesses on their own. They were denied, and they were just given the testimony from two liars, key witnesses from the prosecution, and had to go off that. But when the facts are actually provided in the appeals system, we are 100% certain and confident that President Trump will win in the end. So soon after the verdict was read, President Trump addressed the press and the nation saying this is a disgrace, and he also maintained his innocence. He said, quote, "This is a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who is corrupt. We will fight for our Constitution." He went on to say, quote, "You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing, we didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man," he says, going on to say, "and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This is long from over." And that's how he ended. Again, we will hear more from him on that and his attorneys in the coming minutes from Trump Tower in New York City. Right now, looking at live pictures from outside of Trump Tower. I was there on the very first day of this trial, and I can tell you that there are a lot of Trump supporters in New York City. As you know, New York City has a lot of visitors who travel from all over the world all year long. And people were stopping, asking, what's going on here? And we told him that this hush money trial was beginning. This was day one. Every single person that stopped and asked, why is the media here? And we told them we were waiting for President Trump to exit to head to court. They wanted to know, where was the court? They wanted to go see President Trump after he left Trump Tower. Now, after President Trump did leave Trump Tower, waving to all of his fans who were there supporting him, we stayed the course outside of Trump Tower. President Trump had made his way to the courthouse. Every single person after that who asked us, why are you here? We told them the same story of why we were there. They said, where's President Trump? We told them the courthouse. They said, everyone, they didn't care what was on their agenda that day. They were heading to the courthouse because they just wanted to be near President Trump. And that, my friends, is why this case is going on. The left is scared. President Trump is a threat. They know that the people love President Trump. They just want to be around President Trump. We see that in New Jersey, deep blue state New Jersey, on the beaches at a rally. Tens of thousands of people showing up in the sand and the cold, sleeping overnight on a cold beach just to wait to see President Trump. We saw that in the Bronx just last week. People of all colors, races, and religions showing up to see President Trump. No matter how the left divides us, they want to say we're black versus white, putting Israel versus Palestine. They love the divide. They love war. They love it. They love it. They love it. But it's going to take us, the people, to come together and say, it does not matter our race. It does not matter our religion. It does not matter if my friend has a higher paying job than I do, which state I live in. We want America back, and we want to save our country. And the only person that can do that is President Trump. And so that's what the left sees at these rallies now, is Americans coming together to say, we want President Trump. So again, what does the left do? Anything they can to bring him down, to try to stop him from campaigning, election interference. and keep him away from the American people. But I'll tell you, that's another message to me today, to the left. It won't happen. It can't happen. And we are fired up and we are mad, and we will carry this anger to November 5th when we mark President Donald Trump's name on the ballot, in the ballot booth. President Trump, as you know, was also slapped with a gag order during the trial. Corrupt Judge Merchan taking away his rights to talk while allowing the left to destroy Trump and his character every single day. So it was okay for them, but Trump couldn't say a word. President Trump was able to go on Truth Social during the trial, but he had to be careful what he said because, again, corrupt Merchan threatened jail time if he defied the gag order. But you know what? That's okay. You can slap a piece of tape across President Trump's mouth and tell him he needs to be quiet, but you know who was not quiet? The American people. You can't gag all of us. And if he can't talk, we can. And we will continue because the silent majority is not silent anymore. You have awakened the beast, and we are rowdy and we are ready to roar. And I hope you can hear us in New York City. Now, after the trial, President Trump was able to post on his platform, Truth Social, overnight. He wrote, quote, "The real verdict will be on November 5th by the people. They know what happened here." Yes, we do. He also posted, "This is not prosecution, this is persecution." President Trump also posting an interview with Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who said after the verdict was read yesterday, people from all over the state of Ohio were contacting him, asking him how they can help. Well, here's how you can help. You can go to donaldjtrump.com, donate, 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 anything you can, whether it's $1, $10, $100. It will help President Trump. It all adds up. And it will help him fight the swamp and fight crooked Joe Biden. Here's the thing. Everyone says that President Trump will save America, and he will. He's the only man that we have who can do so right now. We are a nation in decline. President Trump talks about it all the time. But he can't do it alone. He has our back. We have to have his. We have to donate. We have to vote. We have to get people registered to vote. Call all your friends, your family members. Make sure they are registered to vote so they can too vote for President Trump. We have to make it too big for the left to rig. Register, register, register. Everyone you know. If you have someone turning 18 years old in your family, birthday present. Take them to get registered to vote. We have to not just get the Democrats out of office as well. We have to get the rhinos out of office as well. The Republicans who have sat back and done nothing. The Republicans who have used Donald Trump's name to run for office and have ridden his coattail to get in office, but have not fought for him. They know the American people love President Trump, so they run on his name. They get in office because Trump endorsed them, and then they sit back. Where are you today? Tweeting on X, posting on social media that you're mad, but are you doing anything at work about it? Go to the Capitol today. Do something about it. The American people are pissed off. We voted for you for a reason, to get the job done. The American people have made it loud and clear. We want President Trump in office. He is our presumptive nominee, and we want him in office. You need to back President Trump. Get out of your seats, get off your butts, get off social media, and stop pretending that you're doing something, and go actually do something. They have to go to work, and you, the people at home, have to make sure that the people that you elected from your state are doing that. They have to. They represent you. They represent your anger right now. So make sure that they're working for you. That's what they promised they would do. So vote them out of office if they're not doing it. Get them out of there. Find another seat for them, just not in Congress. Get them out. It's we the people who have to get mad like we are today. It's we the people who have to stand up, back our presumptive nominee, and fight. No more nice guy. They started this war. We have to finish it. And our leader, President Donald J. Trump, needs our help. I just mentioned about donating, and I sure hope you do on donaldjtrump.com. And I want to read this X post that just came out just moments ago from the Trump War Room on X. If you're not following them, please do at Trump War Room. They said, today, the Trump campaign announced a record-shattering small dollar fundraising haul following the sham Biden trial verdict totaling $34.8 million, nearly double the biggest day ever recorded for the Trump campaign on the Win Red platform. So as soon as that verdict was read, what this is saying is that Americans donated record-shattering $34.8 million since that verdict was read. Not good for the Democrats. They knew this. They know that the more they go after Trump, the more mad we get, and the more we're going to back our man. And we're not stopping. That Trump train is going faster and harder and down the track better than we ever have. So watch out come November. Another thing you need to watch out for is Mike Lindell. Let's talk about him real quick before we keep going on. The trial that happened and what's next for President Trump, another fighter. The American people love him. And guess what? The Biden administration and his team of corrupt little monkeys that follow him around, clowns, circus, they're after Mike Lindell too. But you know what? Once again, we the people love Mike Lindell. He's fighting for election integrity, and he has done so since 2020, spending a lot of his personal money to fight the left and to make sure our elections are secure. So we can back Mike Lindell as well. He's a great advocate for RSBN. We love him, big supporter of him. Go support Mike Lindell. He has a great deal going on his website right now, mypillow.com. So many items for $25, just $25. It's a sale that he's never had before. This is a one-time sale and deal that you need to take advantage of right now. But not only that, not only are you getting a deal for just $25, you also type in the RSBN code at checkout and you'll save more money. So go stock up if summertime and you're doing some late spring cleaning around your house and throwing out some towels or bed sheets or comforters or whatever the case may be. This is the time to go buy some new items for your house for sweet summertime with My Pillow. Again, that's mypillow.com. Support Mike Lindell. Type in the RSBN code at checkout. Save yourself more money. All right, so we talked about how you can donate to President Trump. Please do so. Record-shattering day. It hasn't even been one full day since that verdict was read, and already over $34 million in small donations has been brought in for President Trump. Go to his website. What else can you do? I advocate for this all the time. Get involved in your local elections. That leads to the state, and that leads to national work. Volunteer. Again, get people registered to vote. Grab your friends, do something, speak up. We are not the silent majority anymore. We can't be. If the Democrats can play hardball, we can play hardball even better, and we can beat them at their sick game that they're playing. Again, that's donaldjtrump.com. Go donate today. Speaking of donations, we enjoy yours here too on RSBN. It allows us to keep covering this historic election, this historic sham trial, trial of the century. Is because of people like you that we're able to be here and provide this coverage. And so thanks to all of you who have donated in the past and continue to do so monthly. And thank you in advance to those of you who will donate for the first time today. You can go to rsbnetwork.com, donate there, and while you're there, sign up for our newsletter as well. I was just thinking this morning that we need to do more. What else can we do? Talking and hearing J.D. Vance yesterday, the Ohio State Senator, talking about people saying, what can we do? What can we do? And it dawned on me going on these different conferences, CPAC and Turning Point USA, and traveling the country and meeting all these wonderful people that we see a lot of mama bears out there, because we always say the mama bears are the ones who are going to save this country. And they are. Don't mess with our kids. That's what the left is doing. They're messing with our children. And the mama bears are stopping that from happening. They're stepping up. They're fighting what's going on in schools and in libraries, on cartoons, in books. So the mama bears really have a great eye out for this corruption that the left is trying to push on our children. Oh, and by the way, Gay Pride Month is coming up upon us, and be looking for another clown show on the White House lawn that President Biden allows. Twerking, naked women, naked men, men in thongs, women lifting their shirts up in front of children who are watching. So be expecting that from this crooked administration coming up for Gay Pride Month. But it's the mamas who are going to stop this from happening. The fight is on. But then I thought, you know what? What about the man of the house? Where are the Papa Bears? Dads, if you're sitting at home right now, let's not forget about you. We have Moms for America. We have Moms for Liberty. We have all of these great mom organizations. But dads, let's go. Stand up today. Get your guy friends and say, you know what? I'm the man of the house. My wife is fighting. I want to fight too. Let's have a Dads for America, a Dads for Liberty. Get involved. So that way we have the moms covered, we have the dads covered, we have Turning Point USA, we have CPAC. Turning Point USA does a wonderful job getting the college kids on the right track, because we all know what goes on college campuses, protests, professors who try to brainwash these young adults who are for the first time away from their parents. They moved off to college. Let's get them while they're away from mom and dad, brainwash them, put them out in the real world, and they'll forget what mom and dad taught them. They'll remember what we taught them for 4 to 6 years, and hopefully, they can go off what we taught them. But Turning Point has done a great job of making sure that does not happen with our college kids. They also have a conference coming up that RSBN will be at as well. We hope you join us for that. Turning Point USA, that will be in Detroit in a couple of weeks. But my point here is that the dads, we want you to get involved as well so we can have all of our bases covered. We're stopping what they're doing in the elementary schools and even younger than that, the cartoons now we have to watch. I have to watch it for my little Marty. Some of the sick things that I see on YouTube, cartoons, and you sign up for an account that's just for kids, but you still have to watch it because they're trying to brainwash our kids. So then you go into elementary school where they're putting, porn and all this disgusting material in their books. And then you get them off to college and they're trying to brainwash them there, but they're starting them at a young age. So the mamas are doing it, the dads need to do it, Turning Point's doing it in college, and then they get out into the real world and they've been taught at home right from wrong. So when they do go to these liberal professors in liberal cities where they got this great job that they've been dreaming of since they were a kid, they can say, that's not right. That's not how I was raised. I know about God. I know about faith. I know about freedom. I know about my Constitution. I know about the Declaration of Independence. I stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and for my flag. I'm not going to sit down. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to kneel. That's disrespectful. So they're well prepared for when they get out in the real world. Protect our children. Stand up. Quit being the silent majority. Dads, I'm calling on you today. Get out there. Get involved. Start an organization. And if you don't know how or where to begin, go to the moms. Moms for America. Moms for Liberty. 2 of my favorite. All right. Again, if you're on social media, follow me for exclusive content. We also want you to follow RSBN all over the board. RSBN's on YouTube, RSBN's on Truth Social, President Trump's infamous social media platform. Also X, Elon Musk has done a great job restoring freedom of speech there. And then also Instagram, I'm there as well. You can go to @Vanessa on Truth Social, just my first name, @Vanessa on X. I am @Vanessa B News. B for Broussard, my last name. And on Instagram, you can find me @Vanessa Broussard News. So make sure you're following me there on those 3 platforms. We're taking live looks at Trump Tower right now as we wait for President Trump. Should be in about 25 minutes or so or less. A lot of people gathered outside. They were there yesterday supporting him as his motorcade arrived back to Trump Tower after that bogus hush money verdict. And so we know the people love him. I hope he remembers that the people love him. Another person who has worked hard with him by his side, we've mentioned him before, is Dr. Peter McCullough, who is a wonderful doctor who during the pandemic really came forward and said, you know, yes, this is something that the American people and the world has never seen before. But at the same time, what can we do in the future that can stop this from happening again? We don't have a health care system in America. We have a sick care system. We all know that. Pharmaceutical companies making billions of dollars, that's billions with a B, every year off sick Americans. You know how it works. You go to the doctor, everything is sky high. Hope you have great insurance because we're always paying for medical bills. Big pharma, they need you to be sick. They want you to rely on them. So the more you're sick, the more money you make. We have people like Dr. Peter McCullough and his team who want to help you. And that's why they came up with the medical emergency kit. This medical emergency kit has different medicines in there that can help you just about in any situation. I've used mine before when the sickness struck me. So this is how you can push back from big pharma and really take care of your health. Don't wait on a doctor. Don't wait on a prescription from your local pharmacy. If you have the medical emergency kit right there in your house, you are set and prepared to go in case any type of sickness occurs in your household. He's been preaching, Peter McCullough has been preaching the importance of early intervention since about 2020, and that message won't change. He says early treatment is paramount to a timely recovery for any illness. So be ready for the next thing. Will there be another pandemic of sorts? We just don't know. Will there be a terror attack? We're assuming there's so many millions of undocumented aliens in our country. We only can imagine that these terrorists and known gang members are flooding into our country. They've got to be planning something. We see the crime already that they've done and the murders that would have been happening all over the country from these illegal documents. What are they planning? We just don't know. But that's when you can have this medical emergency kit for anything that may be thrown our way. So go ahead and get yours today. All you have to do is go to makecaregreatagain.com. Again, that's makecaregreatagain.com. Type in RSBN at checkout, and that way you can save yourself some money for your final when the total comes up. So make sure you type in RSBN for the promo code, makecaregreatagain.com. That's Dr. Peter McCullough, who works closely with President Trump and wants to make sure that you are well prepared for the next big thing, whatever that may be. Again, as we continue to look behind me at live pictures from New York City as we await President Donald Trump to walk down either the elevators or come down the escalators of that beautiful lobby of Trump Tower in New York City. He stayed there overnight after the verdict was read, meeting with his attorneys, and again this morning, and he'll come down and address the nation here in about 20 minutes or so. At the top of the hour, we'll also hear from his attorneys and learn more about what happened yesterday, what happened during this 6-week trial process. And, you know, I was watching last night an interview with his attorney on Fox News, and his attorney was saying how Donald Trump was really pretty calm this entire trial. He said, he was very involved with what was going on. Of course he is. That's President Trump. We all know that. What else can you expect? But that when the verdict was read, he was probably one of the main calmest persons in the courtroom. And so he has to be. And he knew, we all did, what the verdict would be. I mean, you're in a city where 3 to 5% of the people voted for him in the last election. 3 to 5%. So of course, and you could say, it's jury selection. Can any of you honestly say that, you can be fair in this trial? Half of the people walked out. because they can't. They already had a strong opinion about President Trump. But how are we sure that the other 50%, the other half, just didn't tell the truth? We don't know. How hard is it to put a former president? Because look, to be honest with you, you either love him or you hate him. Thank God. Majority of Americans are brilliant and they love him. But the other, small majority over here who prefers Biden and illegals flooding our country and high crime and high taxes and high gas prices and high grocery prices and wars in the Middle East, whatever they're doing, I don't know, and what they're thinking. They're not the brilliant ones. But that's who the voters are in the majority in New York City. So how can they go in and honestly, I want to still today trust our justice system, but it's so hard. And I don't want to knock these jurors, but you're in this Democrat-run city, deep blue state, where they don't like Trump. And why? I don't know. He built the city. Rockefeller, Trump, huge names that laid the groundwork for that beautiful skyline that millions of people from all over the world flock to every single day. Why is he not liked? Because a porn star comes along and says, I had an extramarital affair. He paid me to stay quiet. Really? Stormy, where's the proof? Because this convicted liar comes along and says, I'm sad Trump didn't take me to the White House, so I'm going to go after him. He lied under oath before. What makes us think he didn't lie under oath this time? So this is what convicted a former president. First time in history. But that's all right. The devil never wins. He never does. So you got to wake up this morning. You got to pray up this morning. And we've got to put our prayers behind President Donald J. Trump, and we've got to back him. We want you to join the conversation with us. If you have a question for me or you just want to make a comment, please do. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to chime in, read your comments on air. We'll do that. So we have some wonderful moderators. They're doing a great job in the chat. So start sending me some of your questions, your concerns. Chat away. We'll get to a few of those later in the broadcast, and I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. We also want you to remember that you can donate to RSBN to keep us there in New York City, keep us here in the studio on the campaign trail, as we're expecting as we head into the summer months, into the RNC, and then after that into November, it's going to be busy. And because of you and your donations, we're able to stay on the campaign trail, bring you the truth. We're looking at some of Trump's team right there. Bring you the truth, and we can do that if you donate. So thank you for donating if you already have. I know a lot of you send in monthly donations because you love the truth. You can't get it on mainstream media anymore, unfortunately, but that's why we are here. That's why RSBN came about. When President Trump came down those golden escalators and said he was running for president, immediately he was laughed at by the left. Those pigs on The View and, sitting there eating their lunch and laughing, drinking their coffee. Ha, ha, ha. He'll never win president. The other media outlets on mainstream saying, oh, this is a joke. The American people said, we like him. He tells it like it is. He's actually saying what we're thinking. We like him. He blew up and he won. But then the fake news says, oh, no. We got to start coming up with false accusations against him and start making up lies and just start putting out one-sided stories. Look, I have a degree in journalism, broadcast journalism. I graduated from college, from a very well-renowned college known for its school of journalism. I graduated in 2004. And in just that short time, 20 years ago, media has changed, and it's disgusting. I was always taught that you are unbiased. If you give Joe Biden 2 minutes on air, you give President Trump 2 minutes on air. If you ask Joe Biden this question and you get a 30-second response, you better get that same question to President Trump and he get a 30-second response. Equal opportunity. But that's not the way it is anymore. It's called fake news. And when President Trump came out and said fake news, people would come and ask me, because I was still in mainstream at the time. They'd come and ask me, Vanessa, is this real? I said, I live it and I breathe it every single day. It is real. It is a factual statement. President Trump isn't just making up a slogan. This is fake news run by corporate, carried down to the local level. Your local news. They run the show, the big guys, the big companies, the ones who make millions off of you. The ones who are shaking hands with the Biden administration and the corrupt judges. It's all money under the table. If you run this story, I'll pay you. It's fake news. So then stations like RSBN came about, and other wonderful conservative networks said, wait a minute, this isn't the truth. We want to form a network where people can come and get the truth. And so that's where RSBN came in, and thankfully, all of you continue to watch us and continue to support us and see this is where you get the truth. So do us a favor and continue to donate, because it's people like you who can help us continue to provide the truth for the American people and the world. I have viewers all the time email me and write in saying they're watching from other countries, England, Australia, Ireland, you name it. They all say, we're depending on President Trump to win this election. We need him to win. Because they know if we do well here in America, the greatest nation in the world, it's a domino effect. It carries over. But if we are the weakest nation in the world, which President Biden is making us out to be right now, that also is a domino effect. And it affects the rest of the world. Middle East, does that ring a bell? War going on. Our borders are open. People are flooding in. Who are they? No clue. There may be some people who want a better lifestyle, but that's okay. But come in the legal way, like everyone else. We're all immigrants of some sort. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. We all came over from somewhere. Our families did, but the legal way. Come here and be law-abiding citizens. This is a land of opportunity. This is where you get great health care, great jobs, a great way of life for your family. But under the Biden administration, in just 3 short years, it's becoming a communist country. And that's just not a saying, because if you're on the road, like I'm on the road all the time, and you talk to these Cuban Americans who have come over here to flee Cuba, they're pissed off too. They're scared. They've asked me, Vanessa, what do we do if President Biden wins again? Where do we go next? I said, I don't know. I don't have that answer. The only answer I have is that we have to make it so big for them to rig in November that we have to stop this. We have to save America, not only for us, but also for the rest of the world. And it's networks like this that you can get the word out for us. You can share wherever you're watching from, wherever there's YouTube, Rumble. Hello to all of you on Rumble. If it's X, it doesn't matter. Wherever, Truth Social, wherever you're watching from, share. Get the word out. The more you share, the more the word will get out. Because it's these conservative networks who are telling the truth, who people like me who have left mainstream and said, oh no, this is not what I was taught 20 years ago in college. You don't tell me what to believe. You don't tell me what to say. I'm going to go to a network where I can stand strong as a mom now, fight for myself, fight for my child, fight for my family, fight for the future, and tell you the truth. So we need more people to catch on. So again, thank you for donating. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing us. Continue to do so, because we've been at war, but we're on the front lines right now. And we got to fight. You know, the saying goes, I know you've heard it, say you're standing on a cliff and one of your friends is falling, but that's an evil person. It's easier for that person to pull you down than for you to pull them up, right? It's easy to just fall off the cliff. It's so hard to pull them up because you've got to use all your strength. Well, that's where we are right now. We don't want to fall off the cliff and nosedive with the evil. That would be easy to do. That's what they want us to do. So we've got to pull up and save ourselves from falling off that cliff. But it's going to take a fight. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen today, tomorrow, maybe even next week. But it will happen in November. So we have to make sure we stand strong on that cliff and we fight and we don't fall off. That anger that you have right now, that strength that you have right now today, remember that in November. Remember this day. Remember yesterday and how you felt when that guilty verdict was read. Not just once, but 34 times. Remember what was going through your mind. Remember the emotions that you felt, the madness that took over your body, the boiling blood inside of you, so mad that they did this to our president, the injustice that they did to him and the American people and our legal system. What a slap in the face to all the rest of the judges in this country who go to work every day and sit on the bench and do what they were sworn to do. Judge Merchan should be ashamed of himself. He's a disgusting human being, and he should be removed. And he will. And if any man can come back and get the job done, it's President Trump. They're scared of him. That's why they're trying to bring him down. But we're not going to fall down. We're going to pull President Trump up. He's not going off that cliff. We're going to pull him up, and we're going to fight. It's going to take all of the MAGA movement. But we're loud, we're proud, there's a lot of us. There is a massive red tsunami coming in November. That Trump train is full. There's still some room left for some people who want to jump on with us. We'll invite you all. We want you to come with us. And we know you will, because every time they attack President Trump, his poll numbers just go up. And they know that too. But they just don't know what to do. They're in panic mode. What do we do next? Now what? So what happened yesterday? Guilty. America erupts. They're mad. Trump War Room puts out on X, record-breaking day in donations. That's what they're scared of. This isn't a trial on did he have an extramarital affair and pay someone off for being quiet or to be quiet. That's not what this is all about. That happened years ago. So they say. That's what they claim. Time ran out. Even if they wanted to go after him, time ran out. But they still went after him because they don't have anything else to do. What else is up your sleeve? Democrats, what are we going to pull out of the rabbit hat tomorrow? They know, but they can't stop him. And they won't stop him because we're here. And we have his back. And we have to continue to have his back. And we need to continue to fight. We're not going to fall off the cliff. We're going to push up. We're going to pull up very strong. And we're going to carry this strength to November, and we're going to be right behind President Donald J. Trump. Don't forget, too, that with the left in charge, we saw what they're capable of yesterday. We've been knowing, but we saw it again. It was a slap in the face to us yesterday. It woke us up a little bit, the sleeping giant. But what's next? People can't afford gasoline. People can't afford groceries. I hear it all the time. Summer months are here. I'm seeing friends with multiple kids and grade school and high school saying, oh my goodness, how's everybody paying for summer lunches and snacks for their kids? We can't afford going to the grocery store. So if they can't afford every day-to-day activities, they definitely can't afford to save. But you can. That's where the Birch Gold Group comes in. Make sure you contact them today to help you get on the right track to save for
Hi, everyone. RSBN CEO Joe Seals here. You know, it's not too often that you hear me on the air anymore. And you know, if I do, it must be important. I want to tell you a little bit about OFP Farms, a new sponsor here at RSBN. They're a family-owned and operated, patriotic, America First.
we start, we want to remind you that Democrats are in control. Many of the lessons from the last 24 hours, it's now crystal clear that they will go to any depth to hurt Americans any chance they get. So don't let them control you, and don't let them control your finances. That's why we encourage you to contact the Birch Gold Group. Highly recommended by RSBN. The Birch Gold Group can be trusted with your financial future. So you can roll over your 401ks, your IRAs into gold. So if you don't know where to begin, that's okay. A lot of us don't, but that's where the Birch Gold Group, their experts, come in. All you have to do is text the word Trump to 989898. For years, our politicians have spent like drunken sailors on things like the Green New Deal, the quote Inflation Reduction Act, so much that they have spent money on, wasted money. Don't let them waste your money. Secure your future today with the Birch Gold Group. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. A representative will contact you and then send you a free information kit. They're wonderful at what they do. They care about you and your finances, and they want to make sure that every American has money saved for the future. They have thousands of satisfied customers, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They can be trusted. Our government can't be. So call them today. Again, text the word Trump to 989898. Before we start, we want to remind you that Democrats
Thank you very much, everybody. This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. And these are bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people. When you look at our country, what's happening, where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America, from Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East, and they're coming in from jails and prisons, and they're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president and a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it, because they could right now, today, he could stop it. But he's not. They're destroying our country. Our country is in very bad shape. And they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car, but make it very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge. Now, I'm under a gag order, which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before. I'm under a gag order, nasty gag order. where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order by a man that can't put two sentences together, given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ, just so you understand. This is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it, because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name. And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said, I get put in jail. So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do, because there's never been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an angel, but he's really a devil. He looks so nice and soft. People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let him. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who was a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at. Crime is rampant in New York. Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes, a machete. Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going rampant. And Bragg is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before. I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right? It means that legal expense. I paid a lawyer, totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected. She testified. Marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense in the books. It's not sheetrock, construction, or any other thing. It's a legal expense. Think of that. This is what the falsification of business records were. And I said, what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify, because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong, and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this case, everything that I was ever involved in, which is a first. In other words, you could go into every single thing that I ever did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case, because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening. The level of support has been incredible. So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed, that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for. When you have violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution. It's very important, far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen in the future. But this is far beyond me. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my presidency. And the people understand it because I just see a poll just came out, the Daily Mail. That was the first one, came out, was done last night right after the verdict, where I'm up 6 points. 6 points from what we already were. We were leading fairly substantially. We're up 6 points in the Daily Mail poll. Now, maybe other polls come out and it says something differently, but a lot of people have predicted it because the public understands, and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert, most respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days. And when it was his turn, Bragg's people protested. And the judge knocked him out, said, you can't testify. He actually said, you can't testify for anything having to do with the trial. You can say what the federal elections is. Well, that doesn't help. Everybody knows that. But you can't testify. So essentially, he wasn't able to testify. Other people weren't able to testify. But with these people, they were able to use people salacious. By the way, and nothing ever happened. There was no anything. Nothing ever happened, and they know it. But they were as salacious as they could be, and it had nothing to do with the case, but it had to do with politics. And do you notice the timing? The timing was perfect. This case was dead. It was dropped by every agency, every governmental board. It was dropped by the highly respected Southern District. They said, no, there's no case here. It was dropped by federal election, and that's what it's about. This is about a federal election, not a state election. You're not even allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city, and they went into a federal election. They're not allowed. The people from federal election, Southern District, and Washington dropped the case. Everybody dropped the case. There was no case. Cy Vance dropped the case. And when Bragg came in, he said, this is the most ridiculous case I've ever seen. And who would have a certain person, again, gag order, who would have a certain person like this ever testify? He said, this is essentially one of the worst people I've ever seen ever to testify. He said, the craziest case I've ever seen. This is Bragg. Then when I announced I was running for president, long time later, they decided to revive this case. And they got a judge, Judge Marchand, who was responsible for another case that was also brought. It destroyed the life of a very good man, by the way. Destroyed the life of a very good man who went to prison once, and then they just put him in prison again because they said he lied. He didn't lie. I looked at the statements he made. In fact, he didn't remember something, and they put him in jail. Again, they've destroyed him. With me for many years, he was an honorable person. He was an honest man. And if you look at what he did, supposedly, it never happened. There's never been anything like this. Over the education of his grandchildren. He didn't report that he had a car or 2 cars on his income. I don't know. I wonder how many people here have cars. I wonder how many people said, oh, gee, I have a car that's worth X dollars. How do you even figure it? And I guess you do have to report it, but I would say probably almost nobody does. Nobody even thinks about it. They put this man, they destroyed this man. But they put him in jail again because they didn't want him to testify. They didn't want him to testify. That's why he went to jail. They put him in jail twice. He's 77 years old. Now, normally I'd say that's an old guy, but I don't feel 77. Nobody ever says that about me. I'd like them to say, gee, we have to have a little sorrow for this man, because they just don't say that about me. But maybe I'm better off that way. I think I'm probably better off that way. But they put him in jail twice. And you have to see what they put him in jail. And he was threatened by the judge. This man was told, you're going to get 15 years in jail if you don't give up Trump. And he was told that. You're going to get 15 years in jail. And he made a plea deal because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life. And he was told that viciously. We're living in a fascist state. He was told that viciously. So you can go to jail for 4 months, 5 months, or you can get 15 years in jail. So do a plea. Almost who wouldn't do that plea? Everyone does those pleas. It's a horrible thing. There's a whole group of lawyers that fight that. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. But they destroyed his life. So many other things. You look at Southern District didn't want to bring the case. Nobody wanted to bring the case. And then you know who didn't want to bring the case? Most of all is Bragg. Bragg didn't want to bring it. But then he brought it. And they tried to make it a different case. They didn't say legal expense equal legal expense. Again, if I wrote down and paid a lawyer, and by the way, this was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order. But, you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Took me a while to find out. But he was effective. He did work. But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. You know, they like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a fully accredited lawyer. Now, he got into trouble not because of me. He got into trouble because he made outside deals and he had something to do with taxi cabs and medallions and he borrowed money. And that's why he went. And then he pled to three election violations. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wonder why he did that. He pled. He took a deal. Now, he took a deal because he wanted to get off. In other words, I'll take a plea deal and I want to get off. And he wanted to make a deal with the Southern District. And they wrote the worst report I think I've ever seen on any human being, other than the report that was written on James Comey by the Inspector General, a very great Inspector General, actually, wrote a report that was so bad. This one was possibly worse. The Southern District, the judge didn't let us use it. He said, it's hearsay. I said, it's not hearsay. Wouldn't let us use it. This is about the man. But he got in trouble for a very simple reason, because he was involved with borrowing a lot of money and he did something with the banks. I don't know if it's defrauded the banks, but something happened. You guys know what it is. And then in addition to that, he gave up on three things where he wasn't guilty. In fact, they were going to testify in that. The head of the FEC, the Brad Smith, the election expert, #1 rated in the country, who was going to testify. He took a plea on three things. He just added them in because that gave him more bargaining power with respect to me. But the three things that he pled on, having to do with the election and having to do essentially a little bit with me, they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Nor is paying money under an NDA. So we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. It's a big deal in non-disclosure agreement. Totally honorable, totally good, totally accepted. Everybody has them. Every company has non-disclosure agreements. But the press called it slush fund and all sorts of other things. Hush money, hush money. It's not hush money. It's called the non-disclosure agreement. And most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with their company. It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal, totally common. Everyone has it. And what happened is he signed a non-disclosure agreement with this person, I guess other people, but it's totally honest. You're allowed to make the payment. You don't have to make it. You can make it any way you want. It's a non-disclosure agreement. And he signed that. And there was nothing wrong with signing it. And this should have been a non-case. And everybody said it was a non-case, including Bragg. Bragg said, until I ran for office. And then they saw the polls. I was leading the Republicans. I was leading the Democrats. I was leading everybody. And all of a sudden, they brought it back. It's a very sad thing that's happening in our country. And it's a thing that I'm honored. In a way, I'm honored. It's not that it's pleasant. It's very bad for family. It's very bad for friends and businesses. But I'm honored to be involved in it because somebody has to do it. And I might as well keep going and be the one. But I'm very honored to be involved because we're fighting for our Constitution. The money that was paid legally. There was nothing illegal. In fact, the lawyer in creating the NDA, because at that time he was a fully accredited lawyer. He wasn't a fixer. I never thought of him as a fixer. The media called him a fixer, or the prosecutors called him a fixer. He was a lawyer, and he was fairly good. Later on, I didn't like what he did. I didn't like, for instance, I didn't like that when I became president, he went around and made deals with companies. When I heard that, he was gone. He was gone. And he had payments coming to him. And a lot of this involved things that are very simple. There was nothing wrong. This was standard stuff, all standard stuff. Everything involved was standard. There was no crime here. In fact, I just watched a couple of the reports. You watched Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, Greg Jarrett. You look at all of these people, Mark Levin, all very talented people, great people, many more. And they don't know me, essentially. They don't know me. They're legal scholars and experts. But I look at them. I watched Turley this morning saying, there's no crime here. Everybody says there's no crime here, except for this DA that's got the city out of control with crime. It's absolutely out of control. So we have an NDA that was signed. We have legal expenses. And here's the thing on legal expenses. You have 100 where they say they do a charge. I just recorded this out. Falsification of business records in the first degree. It sounds so bad. I said, wow. And even my own lawyers, I get very upset with them because they don't say what it is. They say, well, falsification of legal records is only a felony. Well, that's a lot. Is only they say a misdemeanor. But they try and bring it up to a felony if there's two crimes. They have all these different things. The other thing is they missed the statute of limitations by a lot because this was very old. They could have brought this 7 years ago instead of bringing it right in the middle of the election. So they missed the statute of limitations. They did everything. Now, let me give you the good news. The good news is last night, we just got a report this morning. In the history of politics, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, somebody will find that I'm wrong, maybe, but I don't think so. They raised with small money donors, meaning like $21, $42, $53, $38, a record $39 million in about a 10-hour period. No, think of that. I like those people. Because so far, I guess it's backfired. Now, I don't know. I'd rather not have it happen. I don't want to have it backfire. I don't want to win this thing legitimately, not because they were stupid and did things that they shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't have brought this case. They were saying it this morning. This is a case that should not have been brought. I watched Andy McCarthy say this is a case that should not have been brought. And that was this morning. But they all say that. Every legal scholar has said it. And these are great people. They really understand the law. The other thing, a poll just came out. The first poll, I don't know, maybe others will be bad. But a poll just came out a little while ago. The Daily Mail. Does anybody read the Daily Mail? It's very good. They have a good poll. At least I like it today. And the Daily Mail just came out with a poll, and it has Trump up 6 points in the last 12 hours. 6 points. 6 points since this happened. Who thought this could happen? Because the people of our country know it's a hoax. They know it's a hoax. They get it. You know, they're really smart, and it's really something. So we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant. And you got to see that with Bob Costello, a fine man. I've never seen anything like it. And neither has anybody that was in that courthouse, where he demanded that the courthouse be cleared. Now, the good news is most of the people in the courthouse were the media. And anybody that was in the media, if you're fair, you'll say, wow, that was anger. That was crazed. He was crazed. And the reason that Bob Costello acted a little bit upset, which I think he has a right to, was that every question he was being asked was being objected to by the other side and sustained by the judge. Sustained. I think he did it many times. I don't know what the number, many times. Even I was sitting there saying, and these were basic questions. And I never saw anybody treated that way by a judge. And I've been treated very badly by 2 other judges also, because it's all the same thing. And it all comes out of the White House. Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. He's the worst president in the history of our country, the most incompetent. He's the dumbest president we've ever had. He's the dumbest president, most incompetent president, and he's the most dishonest president we've ever had. And so many of he's a Manchurian candidate. You take a look at the way he treats China, Russia, so many others. You know, I ended the Russian pipeline. It was dead. He comes in and he approves it. And he gets $3.5 million, meaning $3.5 million is paid to the family, his family, from the mayor of Moscow's wife. And I said, where did that come from? Nobody wants to talk about it. But he's a very big danger to our country. And the only way they think they can win this election is by doing exactly what they're doing right now. Win it in the courts, because they can't win it at the ballot box. So we're going to show them that we're going to fight. It's actually, I don't know, it's something where I'm wired in such a way that a lot of people would have gone away a long time ago. They would have gone away after impeachment hoax number 1. That was a total hoax. I had great support from the Republican Party, though. Then you had impeachment hoax number 2. And then they formed the committee. How about they formed the committee of thugs, the J6 committee of thugs. And they took their records and they destroyed all of the records after the committee was abandoned, because those records were great for us. Now, can you imagine if Republicans did that? Everybody would have been in jail by now. Think of it, the unselect, I call it the unselect, they call it select committee, I call it the unselect committee of thugs. They meet, it's 100% Democrat and 2 past Republicans that are no longer Republicans, that are no longer in business anymore, thank you. But it was all Democrats and 2 wayward Republicans. Liz Cheney and crying Adam Kinzinger. He cries every time he goes on television. He's the most emotional human being I think I've ever seen. And that was our representatives. These 2 people were our rep. So they had all this stuff that they're leaking. And then when it came time to look at the records, like where the police said and the Capitol Guard said that I supplied, think of it, that I recommended as many soldiers or National Guard as you want. 10,000. If you had 500, you wouldn't have had a problem. There wouldn't have been a J6, but Nancy Pelosi and the group didn't want it anyway. So they have testimony to all of that I did not attack the Secret Service agent in the front of a car. You know, these are strong people. And I supposedly went to the driver and I grabbed him around the neck. And he rebuffed me. And then I went to the other guy, who I think is a black belt in karate. And he's slightly younger than me, maybe 35 years, 40 years, 50 years. And I grabbed him around the neck and said, he's a black belt in karate. They know how to get somebody from around their neck. They would have gone like this, and that would be the end of that. Actually, I had a friend that said, you shouldn't dispute that. That makes you look like the toughest cookie we've ever seen. You should have let that go on. But the fact is, it never happened. It was all made up. And that was proven to be made up. It proved to be a false story. And they deleted and destroyed all of that information, every ounce of it. We're dealing with a corrupt government. We have a corrupt country. Our elections are corrupt. Our borders are open. Our borders are going to be closed very soon. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. Now, when I say that, because my people are always saying, do this, because we're fighting for America, DonaldJTrump.com. I hope everybody watching right now, DonaldJTrump.com, because it really makes a difference. They have a lot of money on the other side. I don't know where they get it. Nobody knows where they get it. But for some reason, they get money. But they're not on the side of our country. In many ways, I think they hate our country. Who on earth can want open borders where people are allowed to pour in from countries unknown, from places unknown, from languages that we haven't even heard of? We have people sitting in schools with languages where very few people have ever even heard of these languages. It's not like Spanish or French or Russian. Languages unknown. We have people coming from corners of the globe, and many of them are not good people. Many terrorists, record levels of terrorism, record levels of terrorists have come into our country. Record. They've never seen anything like it. You know, there was a report that in 2019, I don't believe this, by the way, the media gave it, and it was good for me, believe it or not. They said in 2019, there were no terrorists recorded that came into our country. I don't believe that. I don't think that's possible. But 2019 was a Trump year. I don't believe that that could be possible. But they said no terrorists came into our country. So let's say it was close. Let's say it was close. But now record levels of terrorists, record levels, the highest level we've ever seen of terrorists are pouring into our country. You have China with just in the last few months, 29,000 people came in, and I looked at them on a line, and they look like perfect soldiers. They're almost all male, from 19 to 25. It looks like a recruiting exercise. They have beautiful tents. They have propane stoves. They have cell phones, the best you can buy. I said, what's going on? It looks like they're building an army right in our country. Now, I don't think that would happen, right? We're losing our country. And I really think that this is an event, what took place yesterday with this judge. Look, we have conflicted, but he's a crooked judge, and you'll understand that. And I say that knowing that it's very dangerous for me to say that, and I don't mind, because I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to save our country and to save our Constitution. I don't mind. So thank you. So we will continue the fight. We're going to make America great again. Very simple. When people fight MAGA, they say, we're going to fight. I watch Biden. We're going to fight MAGA. We're going to stop MAGA. It's make America great again. That's all it is. MAGA. Make America great again. Our country's in serious trouble. We owe $36 trillion. We were energy independent for the first time ever. And now we're begging Venezuela for oil. One statistic you have to hear. Venezuela was crime-ridden. Caracas, the cities, crime-ridden. 3 years ago. They just reported a 72% drop in crime in the last year because all of their criminals, most of them, and the rest are coming in now, the ones that didn't come in. In Venezuela, their prisons have been emptied into the United States. Their criminals and drug dealers have been taken out of the cities and brought into the United States. And that's true with many other countries. The Congo has just released a lot of people from jail. Congo, Africa, just released a lot of people from their prisons and jails and brought them into the United States of America. This is what's happening to our country, and it's not sustainable by anyone. Little things like our kids can't have a Little League game anymore because you have tents and you have migrants living on the fields. That's the least of it. People are taking over our luxury hotels, migrants, and yet our veterans, our great veterans, are living on the streets like dogs. They're living on the streets. But migrants are living in luxury hotels in cities all over our country run by Democrats. So it's my honor to be doing this. It really is. It's a very unpleasant thing, to be honest. But it's a great, great honor. We're going to do what I have to do. I'm going to do it. And the support has been, that's why I mentioned the number of $39 million. That's why I mentioned we're up 6 points. And we went up a lot over the last month because everybody saw it was a rigged deal. It was a rigged trial. But we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it better than ever before. November 5th, remember, November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
President Trump wrapping up his address to the nation and his thought process on what happened in this bogus sham trial that has been taking place in New York City. Also addressing the American people, letting them know that he also knows that you have his back and that his poll numbers continue to go up. And also mentioning that record-breaking fundraising day in 12 hours or so, the president pulling in over $34 million. And these are small donors. These are not, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 donations. This is $10 here, $50 here, $100 there. These are from me and you, the American people. The average everyday American who saw those guilty verdicts come in, 34 guilty verdicts, and we got madder. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we hit 34, we were so mad, we started saying, we've got to help President Trump. We're going to donate what we can. We know grocery prices are high. We know you have monthly bills to pay, but those $5 extra that you can donate to the president is helping him continue to fight for us. But we have to fight for him. So if you can, whether it's $1, $2 or more, DonaldJTrump.com, hit donate. And make sure that we keep backing President Trump, making it very clear today that he knows that when they attack him, the poll numbers go up. We're expecting the same thing here. Americans are not stupid. We're intelligent people. We see what's going on, and we will not put up with it. Poll numbers will continue to go up. He's also said, I'm honored to be involved. Somebody has to do it to end this corrupt nation that we're living in. So what better man than President Trump? So he's going to keep fighting, is what he said, and he's honored to do so. And that's the man we all know and love, to come out and reinforce the momentum to keep pushing forward into November. We will not stop. We will not go astray. We will hold the line. We will stay focused. And no matter what this corrupt judge does on July 11th, whether he puts Trump in jail, puts him on house arrest, whatever he decides to do, there's no telling what's up his sleeves, along with District Attorney Alvin Bragg and Peekaboo James and the Biden administration. We just don't know, but we know it's something. We're prepared for the worst, but that's okay. They need to be prepared for the worst, and that's on November 5th because we're coming after them. And our leader is right there ready to fight. He made that clear today. But he also made it clear that we knew that this was a trial with no evidence. It was a trial where they just wanted to get Trump for election interference, to keep keep him off the campaign trail in hopes that people would say, oh, now we have a convicted felon, I guess, who is going to run the country. Okay, we love him. He can still run. In case you were wondering, I know we're getting a lot of questions in, and in case you missed the top of the broadcast earlier, he can still run for president, whether he's in jail or not. And that's great news right there, and that's what they're scared of. But this was a trial to be vindictive and to go after the biggest opponent against President Biden, who the Democrats know is winning in the polls, who the American people want in office, and it was all an effort to take him down, but they can't. It didn't work. Yesterday's 34 guilty verdicts did not work, because we know that Michael Cohen is the biggest liar of all time, and we know that Stormy Daniels is the nastiest porn star of all time. We don't like them. We don't trust them. We know they're liars. We know they're filthy. They're dirty, internally, externally, inside and out. These are dirty people. And so we are aware of what's going on. We will await his sentencing on July 11th. But in the meantime, we're going to fight and we're going to donate. We want to thank our sponsors today, of course, Birch Gold, who has been wonderful with us, and we highly recommend them for doing the great work that they do to help you save for your future. Contact them today. Text the word Trump to 989898. We have seen that the Democrats are taking down this country. They're trying their hardest. They're trying to take down our democracy, and they want to take down your finances as well. Don't let them do that. It's hard enough to pay for our monthly bills right now and go to the grocery store. But you can save for your future, and you can do that with the Birch Gold Group. They're there to help you. That's why they are there. Text the word Trump to 989898. Also, don't forget about the Tax Network USA people over there who are ready to work with you. They have great expertise in the field of back taxes. If you owe taxes, if you have not filed your taxes yet, no matter the case, they have experts who are licensed in every single state. So no matter where you live, they can definitely help you. That 1-800 number is on your screen, 1-800-357-1415. You can also go to their website, tnusa.com/RSBN. Sleep better tonight knowing that your taxes are taken care of with Tax Network USA. Dr. Peter McCullough and his great team making sure that you're staying healthy at all times. Have medicine at your disposal. Don't wait for your doctor. Don't wait for the pharmacy to have your prescription ready. Don't wait for the next pandemic or something of its sorts to happen before you wait to get your hands on medications. You can have it at your disposal in your house. That's with MakeCareGreatAgain.com. There are medical emergency kits with all the prescriptions that you need. That's MakeCareGreatAgain.com. Type in RSBN in the code bar at checkout and save yourself some money there. Also, save yourself some money on MyPillow.com. Mike Lindell, big fan of his. We love him. We support him in his endeavors to make sure that our elections are secure moving forward. He is a big fighter for election integrity, spending a lot of his personal money to make sure that we do have secure elections. So we want to make sure we support him as well. Go to MyPillow.com, type in the code RSBN at checkout. You can also donate to RSBN. We talked about that in depth earlier about how important it is for your donations to keep us here in New York City, also in the studio, to bring you the truth and transparency that you won't find on mainstream media. So your donations definitely help us as well get the truth out to not only Americans, but also the world. So you can go to rsbnetwork.com and donate. Also sign up for your newsletter. Real quick, follow us on all platforms. Sign up for YouTube. Subscribe there to our Right Side Broadcasting Network channel. Also, Rumble. Thanks for watching if you're watching on Rumble this morning. Also, all the social media platforms, X, Truth Social, Instagram, Facebook. Right Side is there. If you are on Truth, Twitter, or Instagram, I'm there as well. Give me a follow. I'd love to hear from you and make some connections with you as we move forward on the campaign trail. On Truth Social, I'm at Vanessa, just my first name. On X, which is formerly Twitter, I'm at Vanessa B News, and on Instagram, Vanessa Broussard News. You can follow me there. So in closing today, I know it's a hard day for America, very disturbing day after getting that verdict yesterday. We knew it was going to happen. We were expecting the worst, but hoping for the best, but we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. We got the outcome that we knew was going to happen, but not that we wanted. But Hold the line, America. Keep your chin up and fight. Don't give up the fight. We together will get Donald J. Trump back in office, that is, on November 5th. We cannot let up right now. We've got to continue that fight, and we've got to push harder and stronger than ever. We will prevail. The good always does. Evil never prevails. God always wins. God's on our side. God's on Donald Trump's side. He will be back in office. Hold the line. MAGA 2024. We'll see you next time.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale. And here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.
York and mine. And every day divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot tree that sings beyond the years. Thine alabaster city sweet, I give my human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the Prince of Wrath was stored. He hath loosed the faithful lightning of His terrible sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Our God is marching on. He is coming like the glory of the morning on the way. His wisdom to the mighty, He is coming to the grave. So the world shall be His place, the land of soul and wrong and slave. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Our God is marching on. Thank you. Be seated.
The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I worship your holy name. You're rich in love and your soul to anchor. Your name is great and your heart is
arms for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I'll worship your holy name. I'll worship your holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I'll worship your holy name. I'll worship your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come. Still my soul will sing your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I worship your holy name. I worship your holy name. I worship your holy name.
Miss Sue's going to continue to lead us in worship by playing On Eagle's Wings. And this will be the time our children will meet your workers over here to go to Children's Church.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Suzanne. On Eagle's wings, and all God's people said. And to our choir, I love that song. That's one of my favorites, and I appreciate the heart, the spirit of which they share that message to us, with us today. We, as a church family, we have several of our folk who've been going through some really difficult times, and I do want us to take a few moments and remember some folk, because they, while many of them are not able to be here, they do watch our live stream, and I wanted to know that we're praying for them. Alan Brown. Alan's been fighting a very valiant fight with cancer, and this past week he and his doctor met and determined that he would be going on hospice care. So I want you to be praying for Alan Brown, Alan and April. Miss Emily Sanders. Emily's had a really difficult week too, and she's been fighting a tough battle with cancer. Remember Walt Scott. On a rejoicing note, Bo Roberts has been doing really well following his transplant, kidney transplant. Belva Guy is recovering from hip replacement, hip surgery. A good friend of our church, our community, Donald Word. Donald's back in the hospital, actually. In answered prayer, Brent Wilson was with us this morning, and he's doing really good. He was at 8 o'clock worship. And continue to pray for him. Dale Massey is having a procedure coming up. Barbara Tankersley. We certainly want to be praying for the family of Greg Dudley. That funeral is today at 2 o'clock at Jeffcoat Trant. Greg is the individual that died in the train accident this past week. While I'm not at liberty to mention the name, there's another family within our community that had a tragic death yesterday, and just Lord knows who they are. Be lifting them up. The family of and friends of Davy and Natalie Lloyd, the missionary couple down in Haiti that were brutally murdered by the gangs there in Haiti. Davy and Natalie Lloyd family. A tragic situation. This morning we prayed from Mac Abercrombie, and Lord answered the prayer right here. Mac, it's good to see you. We're thankful for your presence, you and Jean. Very much so. Let's bow and pray together. Father, as we come to this moment with gratitude for the love and the mercy that you've bestowed upon us, we're thankful, Lord, for answered prayers, and we pray continually for healing and encouragement. And this is that moment when we have an opportunity to intercede as intercessors of prayer. And we pray for these who are going through tough times. We pray for their healing and well-being. We pray, God, you might give guidance to those who minister to us, but we also believe in that divine touch of healing, and we ask for it in Jesus' name. And Lord, for these two families, tragic deaths that have taken place, where can we go but to you at a time like this? And the magnitude of, Lord, grief is absolutely overwhelming as we think about it. But somehow, Lord, we do pray that in the measure of the grief, that there might be a measure of comfort that can come from you. That you would give a sense of peace, even though we don't quite understand how. But Lord, we are thankful for your love and your mercy. We're thankful for this moment that we can gather together. We pray, Lord, that you might speak to our hearts with open minds and open hearts, so we might take your word and apply it to our life. That literally, oh God, you might open up your word to us and teach us. And we do pray and ask this in the name that's above every name, in the name of Jesus. And all God's people said, amen. I want you to turn with me in your Bible to the Old Testament, 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. The story that we're going to eventually encounter is in the 7th chapter, but it begins in the 4th chapter. And I didn't give it to the folk back there to put up on the screen because it would have sent them into shock if I began in the 4th chapter and made my way to the 7th chapter. And so, but I hope you brought your Bible. I think there's a couple of questions that we need to ask ourselves as we gather to worship or when we leave is, did we learn something from the Bible? Did we learn something from the Bible? And what was it that God said to me today in this message? I'll just go ahead and tell you the overall theme is what we're celebrating, or I should say what we're acknowledging and giving a sense of appreciation. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's not all about the, and I'm not dissing or criticizing these moments. It's not about simply the lake or the beach or the barbecue and those kind of things that kind of go along with these holidays. But holiday is a word which actually means holy day, one that's set apart. It's about remembering. The passage in 1 Samuel it introduces that word Ebenezer and the stone of remembrance. And the bottom line with regards to that, and we'll get to it, is that the Lord thus far has helped us. Thus far, the Lord has helped us. Ebenezer. It's about remembering. We don't remember where we come from. How do we know we are where we are? And if we don't know where we are, how do we know where we're going? If we don't know where we're going, how will we know when we get there? I say all that to simply say it's imperative that we remember where we've come from as a nation, and that we remember where we've come from as unbelievers to believers. That there's a message there for each and for every one of us. So when you think about Memorial Day weekend, originally it was simply called Decoration Day. Decoration. A few weeks ago, friends of mine sent us a picture of the tombstone, the headstone of a dear friend of mine who died 2 years ago up in Coleman County, and it had the floral arrangements, one on the top and on each side there, and then the dump truck that was in front of. He was in construction, and it reminded me of the first month that I was at Garden City in Coleman County. It was Decoration Month there, and up there in Coleman County, or that part of Coleman County, when it's decoration during the month of May, they didn't have church. You just gathered at the cemetery. But I didn't know any better, and so when I got to Garden City, and it was Decoration Day, and they were telling me about it, they were saying, we got to meet at the cemetery at 10 o'clock. And so I suggested, why don't we have church at about 8:30? Which was not a good thing to suggest. It's just, you break protocol and tradition. But eventually we learned to get along with each other and to address that and to celebrate that moment and to acknowledge it as a community. But a long time ago, this particular significant moment in our history with regards to Memorial Day, Decoration Day, it actually got its start not very far from here, over in Columbus, Georgia. A group of ladies there in Columbus, Georgia, the Ladies Memorial Association of Columbus was their proper name. A lady by the name of Miss Mary Ann Williams wrote a letter to the press in March of 1866. Houston, you remember reading that, don't you, back then? She was asking the assistance in establishing an annual holiday to decorate the graves of soldiers throughout the South. The letter reprinted throughout the South. It went from Atlanta to Macon to Augusta to Columbus to Montgomery to New Orleans and Jackson, Mississippi. It went all over the South and other cities. So after the war's end in 1866, there were 4 ladies who gathered at Friendship Cemetery. Think about that, Friendship Cemetery, to decorate the graves of both Confederate and Union soldiers, to take note of the grief of both families. The story of their gesture of humanity and reconciliation is held by many to be the inspiration for the original Memorial Day weekend that we know today. That was officially proclaimed on May the 5th, 1868. A general by the name of John Logan, which would be an individual north of the Mason-Dixon line. He first observed it, or they first observed it, May the 30th, 1868. So when the flowers were placed on the graves of the Union and Confederate soldiers, it took place at Arlington Cemetery. Brother Denny was talking about that, and I was recollecting my visits to Arlington, and the last visit that I had at Arlington was in February, and I was officiating the funeral of a colonel of the Air Force, Jason Ohm, who was a part of our community and our church years ago. Kept thinking about, I was standing on holy ground, kept thinking about as the shots were fired, the horses were there, the caisson, all those kinds of things, and what a holy moment that was on holy ground at Arlington. I remember it to this very day. So they placed the flowers upon the graves, both of Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington. But Memorial Day originally was called Decoration Day. And there's a strong evidence that those ladies over in Columbus, Georgia, are the ones who decreed it. And we still acknowledge it even today. There's a song that was published during that time in 1867. And it was in honor of the ladies who decorated the graves of those who had died during the war. Some of the lyrics go like this: kneel where our loved ones are sleeping. They lost, but still were good and true. Our fathers, brothers, fell still fighting. We weep, 'tis all that we can do. They fell like brave men, true as steel, and poured their blood like rain. We feel we owe them all we have, and we can but kneel and weep again. Here we bow in holy reverence. This weekend is about remembering. It's about remembering where we've come from. It's about remembering who we are. It's about remembering what we're to be about. And it's about remembering where we're going. It's the history of our nation in that sense. But it's an Ebenezer moment. In a few moments, I'll make reference to the fact that that flag right there, the strength of that flag is contingent upon the strength of this flag here to my left, your right. That Christian flag, those Judeo-Christian values. But this American flag and this Christian flag are Ebenezers to us. It reminds us the sacrifice of those who gave their all for us, for our freedom, our liberty. And that Christian flag is to remind us of the sacrifice of the one who became sin, yet knew no sin, who became that sacrificial lamb for each of us when he gave his life for us on a hill called Calvary. And because of this flag, we're free to worship. And because of that flag, it reminds us that we are free indeed, free from the bondage and the penalty of sin itself. Thanks be to God for this Ebenezer moment for each of us. The passage that we're looking at in 1 Samuel is a history lesson, literally in itself. It's the history of a nation that was called by God, set apart by God, ordained by God, but yet had turned its back on God, had embraced the pagan religion of the Philistines. If you go back and you look in that 4th chapter, you'll see there were conflicts, major conflicts that took place there between the Israelites and the Philistines. In one particular battle, there were 4,000 Israelites that fell in the midst of that battle, and they were defeated. In another part of the battle, there were nearly 30,000 that were killed. It was in that moment, that devastating moment, when the soldiers of Israel had fallen to defeat on the battlefield, that somebody said to themselves, hey, let's go send word to Shiloh and have them bring the Ark of the Covenant to us, because that's what we need. We need the presence of God to fight back this enemy called the Philistines. You know the Ark of the Covenant, and I'm not talking about Indiana Jones knowledge here, But the Ark of the Covenant, that mercy seat, which was a symbol of the presence of God, within the Ark of the Covenant, there was this cup, or I should say the container of the manna, that bread from heaven that fell from heaven. There was the 10 Commandments, those 10 words, and there was Aaron's budding rod. All of them were reminders of where they had come from and whose they were and where they were going, that ark. And so they thought to themselves, if we can just get the ark to the front line on the battlefield, we will defeat the Philistines. But lo and behold, that as Eli, high priest, let them bring the ark from Shiloh to this particular area, Ebenezer. The battle raged. The Philistines won. They took the Ark of the Covenant in their possession. And all of a sudden, there's this young guy, a Benjamite, that gets together and starts headed back to Shiloh to tell everybody what's happened. And when he gets to the town there where Eli is and the others, he says, first of all, thousands have died. He says, secondly, the sons of Eli have died. And then thirdly, he says, the Ark of the Covenant has been captured. The people began to mourn, not because of the loss of life, not because of Eli's son. They began to shout and to scream because of the Ark of the Covenant had been captured. Eli is sitting in his chair, or maybe upon a stool, and the messenger comes in and says, I need to tell you what's happened from the front line. And he said this, he said that there's 40,000 who have fallen. And Eli just sits there. He says, your 2 sons have died in the battle. And he just sits there. And then when the messenger says, and the Ark of the Covenant has been captured, Eli literally falls back on his back. His neck is broken and he dies. I read that scripture, and as I looked at it, the latter part of that chapter there, it said that he was old and he was heavy. And I'm not describing anybody here today, but the fact of the matter is, the Bible's pretty graphic when it begins to tell the story about how things happen. But Eli died not because his sons had, or I should say, not because his sons had died, not because 40,000 had died, but because the symbol of the Ark of the Covenant was gone. Those Judeo values, the essence of who they were as Israelites. So when you move from that point 20 years out in the future, you come to the 7th chapter of 1 Samuel. And that's where we'll pick up reading that. In between that moment, one of the sons of Eli, his wife was expecting. When she heard that her husband had died, that the ark had been taken, it says that she immediately delivered the child. They told her to be excited because you've given birth to a son. And she said, I can't get excited about that, and named his name Ichabod. The glory has departed. When the Ark of the Covenant is gone, the glory of the Lord is departed. The glory of God. 7th chapter. Let's look at it. So then the men, Kirjath-jearim, came, and they took the ark of the Lord. They brought it into the house of Abijah on the hill and consecrated Eleazar his son to keep the ark. What happened? When the Philistines, when they captured the ark, they took it and they put it in front of their temple, in their pagan temple, the Dagon. And that Dagon was part fish and part man, a merman, if you want to call him that. That was the symbol of Dagon. And there were two other pagan gods that were represented in that temple. So when they brought the Ark of the Covenant in and they set it down in front of Dagon, the next morning when they came in, Dagon's statue was fallen on his face. So they set him back up again. The next morning when they came in, Dagon's statue had fallen down and his hands had broke loose and his head had broke loose. And somebody looked around and said, oh, this is not good. We need to get rid of this, the Ark of the Covenant. And so what they did, they got 2 cows who had just given birth to calves, and they got a new cart and they put the ark on it, and they said, we're going to let that go. People have even spoken to me already this morning and said, I'm praying for you, praying for your family, praying for your wife, praying for your church, praying. Intercession is such a high and noble calling that all of us have. Everybody here can be a prayer warrior. Everybody here. And when we call out the names of individuals, and when we call them out on a Wednesday night, that's just simply saying, allow God to speak to your heart, to embrace some of these folk, and to commit yourself to praying for them daily. Praying for them daily. Samuel understood the gift of intercession. He said, I'll pray to the Lord for you. I'll pray to the Lord for you. Look on with me in verse 6. So they gathered together at Mizpah, and they drew water. They poured it out before the Lord. This was an offering. This was a sacrificial offering that was taking place. Poured it out before the Lord, and they fasted. They did without. They made a decision, a conscious decision to do without some things at that moment, without food. They did drink their liquids, obviously, from that point on. But they fasted. They focused on the Lord himself. These are all preliminary to a great awakening within the house of Israel. They fasted that daily. And they said there, we have sinned against the Lord. Samuel judged the children of Israel at Mizpah. I'm struck by that we have sinned when they said we've sinned against the Lord. You know, they could have looked around and said, hey, we've sinned against you, Eli. We sinned against Eli, or we sinned against Samuel. We sinned against the nation of Israel. But they said, no, we've sinned against the Lord. Remember the story of the prodigal son or the prodigal child? Male or female, there's no race on as to who's going to do what. The bottom line is male and female. The story of the prodigal child. It's really the story of the loving father. But in that story, it says that when this young man came to himself and he realized what was going on, he was eating the same food that the hog.
I have to interrupt this, but I got a little business to take care of. All right. Do you hate ticks? I hate ticks. Chiggers are just as bad. If you hate ticks as much as I do, you need Sick Tick in your corner. Sick Tick bands and sleeves protect you from tick bites all season long. If you have had Lyme disease or know someone who has, check out these products today. Ticks are growing concern, but tick bites don't have to be. Long-lasting, permethrin treated Sick Tick bands and sleeves offer protection from Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and alpha gal. They're effective and safe for the whole family. Seriously, look into Sick Tick products today. You'll be glad you did. And that is Sick Tick. SICKTICK. We the people were just okay. We was just quiet, sitting back. We was excited. Then when they start messing with it, no other choice but to step up.
Hi, my name is Jim Meehan. I'm a medical doctor. I'm the CEO of Meehan MD. What I'm here to talk to you about today is getting started on a health journey that is not being done in the United States today. The broken healthcare system is something I left a long time ago so that I could teach you to become a scientist of your own health. I created the Mindset Framework for Health. Mindset is an acronym that guides us in the 7 key elements of health. We want to focus on M, the microbiome, and your mind-body connection. We want to talk about I, the inflammation control in your body. N is for nutrition. D, detoxification. S is sleep. E is exercise, and T is total hormone balance. If we don't get those 7 key elements in line, optimized, working for you instead of against you, I'm not the pill for every ill business model. I left that a long time ago. We've created something better here at MeHan We're guiding you on a journey to optimal health by helping you focus on those 7 key mindset elements to take you to a place in your health that you've never been before, because you've only had doctors that wanted to spend a few minutes with you prescribing a pill for that symptom that you have. I believe in using nutrition and exercise and lifestyle changes and targeted supplementation and getting your hormones in optimal balance, ending all of the things that are driving your health into the dirt. I want to take you out of that, and I want you to grow, get strong, get healthy. Go to mehanmd.com and get started with this. Just click on the Let's Get Started button, and you can download information about how to treat COVID-19, how to end inflammation, how to start your health journey. You want to lose weight? You want to get your hormones balanced? Come to mehanmd.com.